Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Mrs. Salt.
And I am Gran Naniwa.
Welcome to episode 255, Best of the Super Juniors 4.
I mean, come on.
We're here.
We're excited. You gotta be excited.
BoSJ.
Bring it on. I mean, it's gonna be nothing but wrestling. Matt will probably tell us about some angles, but this is not NWO. There's not too many angles. It's
a nice little tournament.
Yeah.
It's got some people. Stuff happens.
So this is the fourth Best of the Super Juniors, produced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. Take place between May 16th and June 5th, 1997.
Hence the name Juniors.
Jesus.
With the final coming from the Nippon Budokan in Tokyo, Japan, with an attendance of 14,000 people.
So when they say live at Budokan, this is the place, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Making sure I'm remembering right.
But we are in Tokyo, Japan.
Damn right we are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
Well, here we are in Tokyo for the Best of the Super Juniors. And, it's the technical fourth Best of the Super Juniors. So I did what I typically do when I tried to figure out what the hell do people in Japan eat.
Japanese food.
Yes, they do. I decided to try and come up with something a little bit of a theme for the show. And since the show itself is called the Best of the Super Juniors, that made me think of like junior-sized foods with like the best flavor. And there's a restaurant that I've wanted to try for a while here in Oklahoma City called Jinya. It is a ramen bar, just opened up not too far from where we are recording here. And looked over their menu, found their small plates, and found quite a few items, 4 to be exact, of just some of the best little bites that they have to offer.
See what you did there.
Yeah. 4 junior bites. We got, I'm hoping for a little bit of salvation from the last little steamed buns that I got from the place that we did not mention. These ones look, I don't know, Gordon Ramsay gourmet in comparison to what we got last time. Nice fluffy bun. It's got some braised pork, a little bit of mixed greens, some cucumber, a little what they call bun sauce, and then a Kewpie mayo. We've got some pork gyoza. We've got a what was this thing called?
It's crispy rice with spicy tuna.
Crispy rice with spicy tuna. That's what it is. It's crispy fried sushi rice topped with spicy tuna, and then a little slice of serrano pepper. And then lastly, the crispy chicken. It's just fried chicken thighs. It came with a ponzu sauce, a little bit of lemon, some greens as well. A very nice looking plate here. I have only tried the gyoza and the chicken. Here,
if you're trying to get a crunch, I'd go bird.
The chicken's gonna give me the crunch. I gotta try this sushi rice though first.
It's good. Everything was good.
That is actually really tasty for just being a reconstructed bite of sushi.
Yeah, it's kind of like what if you deep fried? It's just a deep fried like ball of nigiri rice and then. But, spicy tuna mix on top.
Mm-hmm. A little texture. The sushi rice is good. The flavor of the spicy tuna is good. Let's take a bite of the chicken.
There you go.
A little bit of noise.
There's that crunch.
Chicken's still juicy after we've been sitting here talking for however long we were talking before we turned the microphones on.
Yeah. Yeah, everything was really good. I mean, the redemption of the bun, where it's like, oh, the meat in this one is edible and soft.
And see, like
and
the
bun
last
isn't
one,
like a dry piece of like it didn't taste like a extra thick communion wafer.
No. The last one, I didn't want to take a bite of it because of how it looked. This one, I don't want to take a bite of it because of how it looks, because it just
looks like
it's that pretty.
Like
I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's what a steamed bun should look like. And then also ordered some of their carbonated beverages. What did you say this is called?
Ramen. It's like
ramen.
Yeah, soda, Japanese soda, typically fruit flavored, with like in a glass bottle, and there's like a little
marble.
The lid is is like a clear marble, and you like push it down and drink it. They're always tasty, but
yeah,
there's not much liquid in them.
Not overly sweet. They do drink really fast. They give us 3 flavors. Mine is the original lemon lime flavor. Matt got a strawberry. Mike got a blueberry. Mm-hmm. The bottles are different. The little plunger top thing was
interesting.
A fun way to start a drink.
Yeah. If you ever find a melon one, if you're in an Asian market, the melon ones are my favorite.
I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for these more. I may have to go to the Asian district just to see what other flavors I can find, because
you can find all kinds of fun stuff.
I like them, unlike the Sprite and 7-Ups that we get over here as far as lemon lime sodas go. They're more sweet than they are refreshing, and this one, it's not overly sweet, so
a little crispier.
Yeah, I dig it. And it makes noise.
Sometimes not even when you want it to.
Yep, like that.
Like that right there. I do want to say that the steamed bun was very spongy, and so getting all the flavors of everything that was in the sandwich,
yeah, taco's a sandwich. I don't care what anybody says.
Was a little difficult. Not gonna say it was bad.
No,
just
flavor was good.
Like getting all of the flavors.
Yeah, I've never had a 5-star steam bun in my life, but this one was one of the better ones I've had, because I've had some very bad ones, not even including the one the chain brought.
Yeah,
so I normally just steer clear.
It just kind of tastes like dough.
Like it's not bad. Huh. It's just it overpowers the flavor profile of everything.
I feel like that they became a thing, so people just have like the steam buns that they buy frozen and then reheat them, and I imagine that the only way that it's ever great is if it's a place that actually makes them in-house.
Yeah.
But you're not going to find that as much in the middle of Oklahoma, probably.
Probably not.
But yeah, the gyoza was some of the better gyoza that I've had, and I could eat gyoza. It might be my favorite food. I could just eat those things all day.
Oh, yeah. There's a spot up in Tulsa that I still have to check out, but they have every Thursday is dumpling night, and they make 10,000 dumplings just for this weekly dinner.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's a few different varieties. Yeah. I've got to check them out. They've got a night that's a dumpling night. They've got another one that's what they call their butter bar, where it's like a 7-course dessert menu.
Damn.
That you can go and try all these different ones. It's called Etal, E-T-A-L.
Okay.
That's the one that I had mentioned before that has the authentic Japanese breakfast on Sundays.
Is that what? Yeah, put it cracking a raw egg into fresh rice.
Oh, there was 13 different components.
Okay. That's the only thing I really know.
You had your rice, you had some fish, you had some egg, you had a little miso. Can't remember what all was on there. I haven't actually been there to try it myself. I just remember looking over the menu because it sounded interesting.
Yeah, I'll keep it in mind next time I'm up there.
It's only on Sundays, though.
Okay. Normally I am there on Sundays. Normally if I go up there, it's a Saturday or whatever. Drive home on the Sunday. Cool. Well, yeah, everything was good. Bun redemption.
Jinya Ramen Bar, if you're ever in Oklahoma City. Check them out.
Well, something that would come to theaters right around the same time as our Best of the Super Junior tournament. Lost World, Jurassic Park.
Well, guys, have fun with this one, because I went to see this in the theater, and I fell asleep during it, and I never attempted to watch it again.
I think I may have only seen this 1.5 times. I've seen the first movie probably 10 times in my life, and I may have seen the third one more. I feel like people are pretty sour on Lost World, right? Or
Actually, it's the third one that most people are
sour on. I think I enjoyed
because the second one still kind of is like. So after the success of the first one, Crichton went in and wrote a sequel.
Okay, so he didn't. The book wasn't out yet.
No.
Oh, okay.
He went and wrote a book real quick, and they did a quick turnaround to make this movie, which it was fine.
Is it kind of like how Jason Goes to Manhattan? Doesn't the dinosaur just show up like at the end for a second on land?
There's a second island, and then they.
Oh, is that the Lost Kingdom?
Yeah, the
Lost World.
Lost World. Yeah.
No.
But basically, they.
You weren't a big Lost World guy either.
No.
I mean, we all love the original, right?
Yeah, the original's perfection almost.
Yeah, it's like
This is the one. It had wasn't Vince Vaughn in this one?
No, Vince Vaughn's in the third one.
Okay.
Was he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I guess we just aren't big post
Yeah, I don't know.
post the original Jurassic Park guys. I know that when they did the new ones, I only watched 40 minutes of the first one and decided it wasn't for me, and they made 3 of them. But I've seen Lost World and I've seen Jurassic Park 3, but I don't have any. They didn't connect with me in any way to where I, remember much.
Jeff Goldblum.
Vaughn's in the second one?
Uh-huh. Because the third one was when they tried to bring all the original people back again because people didn't really care from my memory, they didn't care for this one as much.
Is Sam Neill in this?
No, Sam Neill
came back for the third one with
Laura Dern. So Laura Dern's not in the second one either?
No, this one has Julianne Moore.
Oh, really?
Goldblum was the main character in the second one.
Oh, I kind of hate Jeff Goldblum.
You got Arliss Howard, Peter Stormare, Richard Attenborough, Pete Postlewaite.
I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but in the first Jurassic Park movie, Attenborough, plays the little old man. I thought that was Steven Spielberg as a child. I thought he was pulling like a like a Hitchcock or something. Even though Hitchcock didn't talk.
So they're growing more on the second island. They plan on opening up a park in San Diego on the mainland.
Oh, and of course, that's a bad idea.
We all know how that's a bad idea.
All hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I remember going to the theater to see this one, all excited because I loved the original one, and then I fell asleep about a half hour into this because...
Just cause?
It just didn't slap the way the original one did.
Who directed Lost World?
Spielberg did.
Oh, okay.
He even came back for this one.
Huh.
I think that's most of the reason why people don't...
Find it a little disappointing.
Don't shit on this one as much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as good as the original. Everyone knows that, but...
I remember the third one being kind of fun and trashy. It's Joe Johnston who made The Rocketeer, so, that's pretty sick. I love The Rocketeer, but it is one of those things.
$368.8 million.
I mean, this one was number 2 in the theater.
Made $618.6.
Yeah, they were. I think all 3 of them were still very successful.
Yeah,
but there's plenty of movies that are very successful and aren't great.
Has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 54%. So I guess that is just a middling.
Yeah.
Ooh, part 3 had a 49.
And honestly, not that bad considering as far as if the first one dropped, the second one dropped that hard, the third one only dropped a little bit in people's eyes.
No, I just gotta look. What did the first one get?
Yeah.
91.
I mean, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, it's kind of a barometer for the most part, but there's plenty of movies that I love dearly with bad Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh, yeah. Nobody can tell me what movie I'm going to like or dislike just because of their own.
I know. Empire Records is like a 30-something on Rotten Tomatoes.
That movie's a classic.
You guys like it more than I do, but I had a fun time watching it. I've seen it a few times. I've watched it more than twice.
I could quote that movie, I'm sure. That used to be my inventory movie at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Mon amour.
Let's talk some Best of Super Juniors. So it's a tournament with 2 blocks, 14 men. So each one has about 7 guys apiece. Some of our wrestlers involved are Robbie Brookside from All-Star Wrestling, who you might recognize that name as he's a trainer now in NXT. Okay. His daughter, was Zaya Brookside with NXT UK.
I was like, Zaya Lee? No.
That's what I was thinking at first, too.
Zaya Brookside. I know who you're talking about.
Robbie's tag team partner, Doc Dean, also from All Star Wrestling. El Samurai, Chavo Guerrero Jr.,
Chavo.
Chris Jericho, Koji Kanemoto, Jushin Thunder Liger, Hanzo Nakajima, and Gran Naniwa, both from Michinoku Pro. Shinjiro Ohtani, Scorpio Jr.
I assume that's not...
Has nothing to do with...
No relation.
With Too Cold. Yoshihiro Tajiri, Tatsuhito Takaiwa, and Dr. Wagner Jr., who just so happens to be a Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Famer.
Really? And none of the other guys are? Who the fuck is Dr. Wagner Jr.?
I dig the name.
He's a CMLL or AAA guy.
Oh, okay. With his name, I do not assume that he is a Hispanic wrestler. Dr. Wagner sounds about as white as it gets.
It's Vaughn's father.
Von Wagner's father. Yeah, okay.
Those 14 men competed. Each one of them, a round robin. You got, in this tournament, you got 2 points for a win. No points for draw or loss.
Okay.
So, or no, it wasn't 2 points. It was just 1 point.
So it was
basically whoever had the most wins basically moved on. So each match is just a block match, basically. And whoever had the most wins after their 7 matches would move on to the finals. So we go to our first match. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Chavo Guerrero Jr. in a Block A match.
That also happens to be in a high school gym.
Yeah, this one would take place on May 16th, so the first day of competition, at the City Gymnasium in Kiru, Gunma, Japan. And the last time we saw Guerrero was at Fall Brawl 96, episode 220, and Jushin at Wrestling World 97, which was episode 235, our January 4th show.
Yeah,
which is where we'll see most of these guys the last time. But this match is actually clipped early on. Chavo hits a drop kick and works the arm, only for Liger to counter into a camel clutch. Jushin releases the hold to nail a kapu kick, and he tries for a second one, only for Guerrero to leap up and black flip over, allowing Chavo to deliver multiple hip attacks, sending Liger out to the floor. Guerrero heads up top to fly out with a plancha before returning to the ring to hit a moonsault for a 2 count. And Chavo heads back to the top for a splash, but Jushin gets his knees up, allowing Liger to nail a brainbuster and a swan dive headbutt for a near fall. And Jushin telegraphs a back body drop with Guerrero flipping over him and delivering a hurricanrana for a 2 count, followed by a drop toe hold and a La Magistral cradle for a near fall. Chavo then charges at Liger, only to receive a show tie, before hitting a jumping Liger bomb for the pin and the win.
Fun little early tournament match.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's early in the tournament because they started in the outskirts. We're not in a big city. But it was fun to see them in this smaller venue.
Oh, yeah. Chavo looks like he just got out of class and jumped in the ring.
So we go to our second match. Shinjiro Ohtani versus Yoshihiro Tajiri in a Block B match. And this would take place on May 20th at Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. And the last time we saw either of these guys was at Wrestling World 97, episode 235, when they actually faced each other on that show. So if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
It's the first time we saw Tajiri.
And we're always happy to see Ohtani.
Tajiri looks even baby facier here.
Yeah, he looks.
Because I had to stare at the screen for a second and like, is that him?
So Ohtani just starts kicking the crap out of Yoshihiro, taking him to a corner where Shinjiro stands on Tajiri's head and claps to the crowd.
I love the corner face wash, just rubbing your boot right across their damn face.
Ohtani begins wearing down Yoshihiro with headlocks, raking the face with his forearm and cross arm breakers, forcing Tajiri to make the ropes. And Shinjiro continues with a heel kick and another arm breaker that Yoshihiro counters into a half crab, with Ohtani making the ropes this time. And a basement drop kick by Shinjiro places Tajiri in a tree of woe, followed by another basement drop kick and standing on his head in the corner once again.
Those low basement drop kicks to his face twice in a row, but when he sets him up for the tree of woe, I was like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? And it just looks so snug. He just fucking pushes his face in. And then steps on it. You're so disrespectful, Ohtani. I love it.
Yoshihiro fires up with a drop kick that sends Ohtani out to the floor, with Tajiri looking to fly out with a plancha, only to land on the apron when he sees Shinjiro just walk away. Yoshihiro then leaps off the apron with a cannonball onto Ohtani, before returning to the ring, where he goes for a roundhouse kick as Shinjiro makes the apron, only for Ohtani to catch his leg and apply an ankle lock momentarily, until Tajiri can escape and hit another dropkick.
I fucking love this shit. My God.
Yoshihiro goes to bring Shinjiro in the hard way, but Ohtani floats over and delivers a release German suplex, followed by going back out to the apron for a springboard dropkick to the back of Tajiri's head.
I mean, it's picture perfect. He just really looks like he hates the man and is doing everything he can to make it known.
Shinjiro with a bridging German for a 2 count, and he goes for a dragon suplex, but Yoshihiro blocks and nails a hurricanrana for a near fall. Tajiri tries for another, only for Ohtani to catch and drop him with a powerbomb, before heading out to the apron for a springboard spinning heel kick for a 2 count. Shinjiro then whips Yoshihiro to a corner, only for him to leap out to the apron, where he drop kicks through the ropes back into the ring, followed by a Liger bomb and a rolling sequence that ends in a near fall. Now back on their feet, the two men exchange slaps when Ohtani tries for a roundhouse, only for Tajiri to duck and nail a dragon suplex for the pin and the win. Post-match, Shinjiro can't believe it and tosses the ref across the ring, while Yoshihiro celebrates.
I love that Yoshihiro can't even believe it. He's like, I got the 3 count. So good.
And then some old guy in a suit comes out and gives Tajiri a hug before speaking to the crowd.
And you can hear Ohtani throw something off camera or break something.
He's in his own personal hell.
Yeah,
he's playing
it off perfectly as he's leaving the ring.
And it makes sense because he was before they even locked up, it was intense and it looked like he wanted to murder the guy, and then he looked like he was trying to murder the guy the whole match. And and he's Yoshihiro snuck in the pin, and his world's crumbling around him.
Yeah, I was surprised by this one. I wasn't expecting Tajiri to get it.
Yeah, me neither. But it makes sense early in the tournament, and they have history, so it's good stuff.
And did Tajiri lose their last one?
No, Tajiri won the last.
Did he? Okay.
No, Tajiri lost.
Yeah, he probably lost. He is working for war, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So we go to our third match. Tatsuhito Takaiwa versus Koji Kanemoto in a Block A match. This one also happened on May 20th from the Korakuen Hall. And we haven't seen Koji since Wrestling World 97, episode 235. And he looks for a handshake before the match, only for it to be kicked away.
And this is when I begin to already have warm feelings for Takaiwa. I'm like, oh yeah, I love some dickhead energy. So, yeah, already a little pumped.
So there's a feeling out process to start until Kanemoto starts laying it in with stiff kicks, only for Takaiwa to no-sell, followed by some stiff shots of his own and a back suplex. And Takaiwa goes for a half crab, forcing Koji to crawl his way to the ropes before the two trade strikes, until Kanemoto tosses Tatsuhito to the floor and then into a guardrail. Now back in the ring, Koji wears down Takaiwa with a headlock and a leg lock, where they trade slaps and kicks to each other while in the holds. But Tatsuhito reverses into some arm work of his own before whipping Kanemoto around the ring, followed by a leaping forearm in a corner. Takaiwa with a body slam and a running knee drop before going for a suplex, which is countered by a drop toe hold for Koji to work the leg some more. And the two lock up for a test of strength.
Woo!
That Tatsuhito just shoves Kanemoto down to the mat and begins to stomp away until Koji catches a boot and is able to place Takaiwa in a tree of woe momentarily.
Whoa.
Kanemoto with several stiff kicks before the two start trading strikes in the middle of the ring, which Tatsuhito gets the better of, knocking Koji down. And Takaiwa shoulder blocks Kanemoto, but he kips up, so Tatsuhito runs the rope when Koji tries for a leapfrog, only for Takaiwa to catch and drive him down with a power slam for a 2 count.
I love to see it.
Kanemoto rolls out to regroup, but Tatsuhito leaps over the ropes with a slingshot plancha to keep up the attack before rolling back in. And Takaiwa brings Koji in the hard way, followed by heading up top, only to miss an elbow drop, allowing Kanemoto to go to a cross arm breaker, which forces Tatsuhito to make the ropes. And Koji with multiple stiff kicks, a body slam, and a pair of top rope sentons for a near fall, followed by an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. He looks for another suplex, but Takaiwa fights his way free, only to run into a spinning heel kick. Koji continues with a body slam and he heads up top, coming off with a moonsault. But Tatsuhito moves, only for Kanemoto to land on his feet. Takaiwa hits him with a kick to the gut, allowing him to deliver a Death Valley driver and a straight jacket suplex for a 2 count, followed by a cross arm breaker, which forces Koji to make the ropes.
I love that it's not until that power slam where he catches him from the leapfrog that we get our first pinfall, and it's like 11 minutes in. I mean, these guys are kicking the shit out of each other and doing mat work while slapping each other in the face. It's so good and intelligent and awesome.
And they keep it interesting enough to where you don't really even notice that there hasn't been a pinfall.
Yeah, exactly.
That long into the match.
Mm-hmm. It didn't matter. You were wrapped up in the legitimately slapping the hell out of each other, forcing the ref to get in between them to break. Yeah, they don't like each other, and I like it.
Tatsuhito sets up for a powerbomb, but Kanemoto reverses it into a sunset flip for a near fall, only for Takaiwa to come right back with a body slam and head up top, where Koji dropkicks him from behind to cause Tatsuhito to crotch himself. Kanemoto then climbs up for a poison rana before a body slam and another moonsault attempt.
I mean, right on the head. The poison rana was disgusting looking.
When Kanemoto comes off, this time he's met with knees from Takaiwa, followed by a triple powerbomb into a Death Valley driver for the pin and the win.
I mean, has anybody ever earned a pin more than that? Like the three power bombs, doesn't release, just lifts him up and dumps him like a rag doll into the Death Valley driver and the pin. It's like, kick out of that, wrestling's dead.
Post-match, we get interviews in the back with both competitors, but it's in Japanese, so sorry.
Yeah,
no clue what they said.
Yep.
I mean, this was 110% up my alley. But what do you know anything about Takaiwa or the different or what these guys have? They obviously hate each other. I'm pretty sure I picked up some context clues from later in the show. As you know, there'll be people in other people's corners. Takaiwa is obviously a heel, but black shorts, stiff heel. Just kind of.
He was a trainee with Ohtani, basically coming up at the same time with him.
So
they teamed up to win the junior heavyweight tag team.
So
belts
dickheads of a
at one point
feather flock together. Yeah.
But this was kind of his first year that he really
Singles.
started making a name for himself was 97.
Yeah.
Like he had basically just been a young lion
Yeah,
up to
yeah.
this point.
Well, he's making a wonderful impression on me all these years later because I love this guy.
So we go to our fourth match. Gran Naniwa versus Jushin Thunder Liger in a Block A match. And this would take place on May 24th at the Prefectural Gymnasium in Okayama, Japan.
Yeah, this match notably is the lights are low, where all these other ones, if you've seen a match in Garakuin Hall, lights are up, baby. And in that gym, lights were up. So, it seems almost rare that you watch a Japanese wrestling match with the lights down. Naniwa, we can't talk. We got to talk the crab hands.
Absolutely.
Man has just giant crab hands, and then he throws them off. He's a crab comedy wrestler that can wrestle, but...
And we haven't seen him since Super J Cup 95, episode 175.
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the match is immediately clipped ahead to Naniwa hitting multiple tornado DDTs for a 2 count, before the two fight over a waistlock, with Jushin getting the better of it, to deliver a release German, sending Gran Naniwa out to the floor. And Liger climbs to the top, but Naniwa meets him there, where a headbutt sends him back down to the floor, allowing Jushin to leap off with the plancha. Now back in the ring, the two run the ropes, with both going for a clothesline to cause a double KO, followed by the two fighting over another waistlock, with Gran Naniwa going for an O'Connor roll, only for Liger to hold onto the ropes to block. And Naniwa responds with a basement dropkick and heads up top for another dropkick to the knee, before locking on the figure 4, where Jushin struggles, but he eventually crawls his way to the ropes to break the hold.
I love that, we can't see Liger's face, and he always makes up for it by just being a little bit louder in the ring when he has to be, because he's the godfather of the junior heavyweights. He just does it right.
Don't tell Rey Mysterio that.
I'll tell Rey Mysterio that.
Gran Naniwa with a gut-wrench sit-out powerbomb places Liger on a turnbuckle, only to be headbutted off several times. But Naniwa's resilience allows him to finally attempt a Super Rana, only for Jushin to hold onto the ropes, sending Gran Naniwa crashing down to the mat. Liger then goes for a tornado DDT, but Naniwa counters by just shoving Jushin off to the middle of the ring, before heading up top himself, where Liger meets him for a superplex, for the pin, and the win.
It's good. It's not obviously not as good as some of the matches we've already seen, but it's Gran Naniwa who is... There's a reason, it's like, yeah, he's a good wrestler, but he does some Japanese comedy stuff. There's a reason that you don't really ever see him in the States. But, he can go.
Well, imagine the comedy they'd have him do in the States.
No choppy peepee.
So we go to our fifth match. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Tatsuhito Takaiwa in a Block A match. And this one would take place on May 26th at the City Gymnasium in Takamatsu, Kagawa, Japan. And Liger looks for a handshake. And again, Tatsuhito is disagreeable.
He gives him the middle finger. And I couldn't be more excited. This guy is made for me.
But Jushin just returns the favor.
So charming.
And the two start us off with a test of strength.
Liger.
That Takaiwa gains control with to begin working over Liger's leg with leg locks and stomps, until an enziguri by Jushin allows him to escape momentarily, only to try a leapfrog, which Tatsuhito catches and drops him with a power slam for a 2 count.
Don't you love Japanese tournament wrestling? How it just pays out to watch all the matches.
Takaiwa heads up top for an elbow drop to the leg for a near fall, followed by a diving headbutt and a figure 4 to continue the punishment, forcing Liger to make the ropes. Jushin back body drops a charging Tatsuhito out to the apron before hitting a massive showtie to send Takaiwa crashing out to the floor. Now back in the ring, Liger hits a powerbomb for 2 and sets Tatsuhito on a turnbuckle, where the two exchange strikes, with Jushin being knocked down to the mat, allowing Takaiwa to fly off with an elbow drop, only for Liger to avoid and cradle up Tatsuhito for a near fall. Jushin then nails a fisherman's buster for a 2 count, follows that by heading up top for a swan dive headbutt, but Takaiwa moves in time, allowing him to deliver a Death Valley driver and a bridging German suplex for a near fall.
I know, it's like the Death Valley driver. It's like, is that his finisher? It, put Kanemoto away, but he followed it with a bridging German suplex. So I was like, could this be it? It was not.
Tatsuhito goes for another German, only for Liger to reverse the waistlock and hit a release German of his own, followed by a short arm showtie attempt, but Takaiwa ducks and hits a straight jacket suplex. Tatsuhito then sets Jushin on the top turnbuckle, connecting with a super Death Valley driver, before hitting multiple power bombs. But after the third one, Liger counters the pin attempt by flipping Takaiwa over for the pin and the win.
What a finish. I mean, yeah. Also that spot with the short arm lariat, and then Takaiwa ducks it, and just seamlessly, like no time wasted, perfect flow into the straight jacket German. It's like, you don't see shit that smooth too often. Not often enough.
And the straight jacket Germans, where they just like belly back and throw. Because there was one I remember Jushin doing where that's what it looked like, as he just did a belly to back.
Straight jacket is like when they have their arms.
Yeah. They have their arms wrapped around. They toss them.
Okay.
So it's basically
that was the one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when he landed, it was like, ooh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, and like this Takaiwa guy, love his energy, love his moveset, and he's also great at selling. It's kind of the whole package. Why did I not know who this guy was before now?
Remember that
name? Kind of appeared on the...
Yeah. I feel like I would have heard about him at some point, just, from casually dipping into Japanese wrestling.
Remember that name for the future when we talk about how he was last seen on episode
I know, when I cry about it.
or whatever we're at.
So we go to our 6th match. Koji Kanemoto versus Doc Dean in a Block A match.
Doc Dean sounds like a WWE name.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. This match would also take place on May 26th in Takamatsu. And the match is clipped ahead right away to see Kanemoto hit a spinning heel kick, a Saito suplex, and the two start trading slaps.
Slap the hell out of each other.
Until Koji body slams Doc and heads up top for a moonsault. But Dean moves and nails a clothesline. Doc then heads up top for a somersault senton for a 2 count. Goes up again to leap off with a splash, but Kanemoto avoids and delivers a judo throw and locks on a cross arm breaker, only for Dean to get a boot on the ropes. And Koji stomping away on Doc before slamming him down and heading up top, only for Dean to meet him there for a super hurricanrana for a near fall. Doc then slams Kanemoto down and heads up again to fly off, only for Kanemoto to nail him with a drop kick on his way down, following it up with a bridging tiger suplex for the pin and the win.
I like the post-match Koji massages the neck of Doc Dean, who's just shaking his head. It's like, hey buddy, you're just not there yet.
So we go to our 7th match. Koji Kanemoto versus Jushin Thunder Liger in a Block A match. This will take place on June 1st from the Odawara Arena in Odawara, Kanagawa, Japan. And both men came into this match at 4-1.
Oh.
Essentially making this a semifinal, as the winner would move on to the finals. So we get a feeling out process to start, with them taking it to the mat, where Jushin would work the arm, while Kanemoto tries his luck working the leg, including a knee drop that sends Liger rolling out to regroup.
I mean, Liger's had his knee pounded for a month now at this point.
As soon as Jushin gets back in the ring, Koji's on him with stiff kicks, until Liger catches one to counter it into a dragon screw leg whip. But Kanemoto comes right back with more kicks. And the two have a chop exchange until Koji hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex and goes back to work on the leg with stomps, followed by a body slam and a moonsault attempt, only for Jushin to move in time before delivering a kapoo kick and a clothesline. And Liger keeps up the attack with another kapoo kick and multiple show ties that sends Kanemoto over the ropes to the floor, following out with a somersault senton from the apron before another show tie that puts Koji in the front row. And Kanemoto barely makes it back in time, where Jushin continues the punishment with another show tie, followed by placing Koji on a turnbuckle for a super fisherman's buster for a 2 count. And Liger takes Kanemoto back up, where he can hit a super Frankensteiner, before climbing to the top himself to nail a swan dive headbutt for a near fall. Jushin goes for another kapoo kick, only for Koji to catch him and reverse it into an ankle lock, where he has to crawl a long way.
Yeah, he's so far from the ropes, and yeah. You know, you want Liger to be working from underneath.
Kanemoto then locks on a figure 4 in the middle of the ring.
Liger!
Where Liger's struggling to make the ropes, but he finally turns it over to reverse the pressure, forcing Koji to make the ropes to break the hold. Jushin runs into an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, allowing Kanemoto to apply a cross leg bar, causing Liger to writhe in pain.
Yeah, he's flopping like a fish.
It's like grabbing at the ref's shirt
yeah.
until he can just finally make the ropes. Koji with a roundhouse kick to the stomach, a body slam, and a second rope corkscrew senton, before going to the top for another corkscrew senton. But Jushin moves in time, allowing him to fire up with a Liger bomb for a 2 count. Jushin then takes Kanemoto to a turnbuckle for a super brainbuster, but Liger's too tired, so he takes him a moment to make the cover for a near fall. Jushin continues with a front slam, and he heads up top for a missile dropkick that Koji just sidesteps and sets up for the Tiger suplex, only for Liger to reverse the waistlock to hit a release German that sees Kanemoto land hard on his head.
It's like flat, basically head first, but then his stomach. He does like a full flip in the air. It's wild.
Jushin heads up top again, but Koji meets him there for a super power slam, followed by a moonsault for the pin and the win. Koji Kanemoto moves on to the finals.
I mean, we always talk about how Liger's not afraid to lie down, but he picked his moment here. Granted, we didn't see all the matches. I don't know who his other loss was to, but yeah. It's not Takaiwa's year. It's Kanemoto's year, Liger.
I should mention that Liger at this time is the J Crown champion.
Oh.
Meaning he's also the IWGP junior heavyweight.
Yeah, but it makes sense that he probably wouldn't win twice in a row.
Yeah.
Plus, he's also... There's so many guys.
Do they still have the 8 belts for the J Crown?
At this point, I believe it's only 7, as one of the belts got lost. Not like physically, like the person lost it. Like someone before Liger lost the belt, just that one belt back to that crew. So it's only 7 belts. So we go to our 8th match. Shinjiro Ohtani versus El Samurai in a Block B match. And this would take place on June 3rd at the Yamagata Prefectural Gymnasium in Yamagata, Japan. We haven't seen Samurai since the J Crown tournament, episode 213. And we basically have another semifinal. as both men came in with 4 wins again. So the winners advancing to the finals. And Ohtani attacks as El Samurai is getting in the ring with a pair of drop kicks.
I love him so much. He still has his jacket on too, his shiny jacket.
Followed by the two just slapping the crap out of each other.
Ooh, do they ever.
Sending Shinjiro rolling out to the floor, only for Samurai to fly through the ropes with a tope suicida. Back in the ring, they trade strikes until Ohtani rakes the face several times with his boot, before placing El Samurai on the top turnbuckle and drop kicking him out to the floor. Shinjiro then springboard planches out atop Samurai, followed by a springboard spinning heel kick back into the ring for a 2 count. Ohtani goes for a suplex, only for El Samurai to float over to nail a bridging German for a near fall, before delivering a reverse DDT and a swan dive headbutt for a 2 count.
Yeah, and of course, the guys are on the floor because it's a big match. So you've got Liger and Koji, pulling for El Samurai.
Samurai tries for a suplex, but it's blocked and reversed by Shinjiro for a release German of his own.
Right on the head.
He steps on El Samurai as he makes his way to the apron to springboard back in with a drop kick to the back of the neck.
God damn.
Ohtani then goes for a dragon suplex, but it's blocked. So he settles for a bridging German for a near fall, followed by a hurricanrana for a 2 count. Shinjiro tries for another, only for Samurai to counter it into a powerbomb, before nailing a thunder fire powerbomb for a near fall. El Samurai tries for another, but Ohtani slips out and hits a spinning heel kick, followed by trying for the dragon suplex once more, only for Samurai to reverse it into an implant reverse DDT, which Shinjiro then counters out of into the dragon suplex for a 2 count.
No! Hell of a semifinal.
Ohtani goes to the apron to fly back in with a springboard dropkick, but El Samurai moves in time and rolls up Shinjiro with the La Magistral for the pin. And no! Ohtani's boot is on the ropes.
And both of these guys are gassed, pulling themselves up by the ropes and then just using bursts of energy to pull these moves off, only to be gassed again. You've seen it before, but, a little context.
Shinjiro takes Samurai to the top for a superplex, but El Samurai reverses it into a super facebuster, followed by the implant reverse DDT for the pin and the win. Post-match, we get some more interviews in the back, and then we get the credits, followed by still photos of the final. But don't worry, we're going to cover that next, because we did find the video of it.
Yeah, it's weird that the final wasn't included on whatever this was pulled from. I'm glad you told us ahead of time.
It's a actual video that they released. Yeah, I was like, why wouldn't you put the final on the video? It made no sense to me.
Yeah, that inverted neck breaker DDT thing El Samurai does is sick. It looks so nasty.
Misread that text.
Oh.
I didn't watch the match. That's why as I'm reading this, it's like, okay, that makes a whole lot more sense. Because I thought, that seems like a really weird time to end the show. Because it didn't feel like it was the big celebration ending that I was expecting it to be. And I was thinking back to the text that you had sent, and I thought, because the wording on it said something about if you haven't watched already through the credits, don't. And I was thinking that you just found the full match, because I knew this one was somewhat shortened, but
this
I get to have story time.
Yeah, this is good shit. I highly suggest watching the final. This is good stuff. It's not my favorite match so far, and I'm typically not the biggest El Samurai fan, but I'm about to eat my words, so...
Yeah, see, I thought that was weird too, but occasionally we watch these things and there's somebody that's in the final that I haven't really seen yet, or only had a bit part on the road to it, so yeah. Cool.
Well, first thing for me, You may not have liked it.
I know I liked it. I'm just normally not a huge El Samurai fan,
But
and I really enjoyed him here.
I'm saying the two words.
Short list?
Short list for this match.
I have another match on this show that I feel short list opinions about. A couple of them.
But also, do you know where this match was clipped at? Because the official time of this match is like almost 19 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We only see 10 minutes of it.
Damn.
But I literally rewatched this match, and I'm like, I have no clue where they clip stuff at.
No, I couldn't tell where the clip was either.
There was one spot where it looked like
they did like a reversal of the camera angle at one point, but I thought like it was exactly, they were in the exact same spot that they were in the previous camera angle.
And see, there was something right before the end of it where it looked like El Samurai's mask was loose or something like that. So I thought maybe that's where it got clipped at, because I backed it up, and before that his mask was tight, but then he also had those little flap things hanging in the front, so that may have just been what was throwing me off to make me think that his mask was loose.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the show, Kanemoto Takaiwa is my short list match at this point. But there's no match on this show I dislike.
So we go to our 9th match. Koji Kanemoto versus El Samurai in the Best of the Super Juniors final. And as mentioned earlier, this match took place on June 5th from the Nippon Budokan in Tokyo, Japan. And we get back and forth action full of wrist locks and holds when Samurai would just start stomping away before working the back with a camel clutch and a butterfly hold. Kanemoto fires back with a spinning heel kick, followed by the two men just slapping each other, until El Samurai delivers a back suplex and heads up top for a knee drop, only for Koji to move in time. And Kanemoto takes advantage by working the leg with kicks and leg locks, before just standing on Samurai's head in a corner, forcing him outside to regroup.
I love Koji's ticket. He just likes stomping and standing on people's heads, and I couldn't appreciate it anymore.
El Samurai returns, and he immediately takes control, placing Koji in a tree of woe, hitting a pair of basement drop kicks, followed by just choking him with his boot, until Kanemoto falls out of the tree, grabs the leg that's choking him, and counters it into an ankle lock.
One of the best spots. I mean, this show is full. This tournament is full of awesome spots that you don't see coming, and this one is so simple and smart and chef's kiss.
Samurai grabs the ropes to break the hold, so Koji starts stomping away until El Samurai can retaliate with forearms to the face, followed by several kicks to the face, including another basement dropkick for a 2 count. Samurai starts running the ropes, with Kanemoto leapfrogging him, before nailing an overhead belly-to-belly suplex and goes back to the ankle lock, wrenching on the move, causing El Samurai to scream in pain, forcing him to crawl his way to the ropes for a break. Koji continues with a body slam, and he goes up top for a moonsault, only for Samurai to move, but Kanemoto lands on his feet, only to be taken down by a vicious lariat.
I mean, he's been watching the tape. He knows that if he moves, you're going to land on your feet.
El Samurai then vertical suplexes Koji over the ropes to the floor, falls out with a tope suicida that sends Kanemoto back first into the guardrail. And they make their way back in, where Samurai charges at Koji, only to receive another overhead belly-to-belly suplex, followed by a cross leg bar, before locking on a figure 4, with the crowd going crazy.
Samurai! Samurai!
And El Samurai rolls his way to the ropes to force a break, but Kanemoto then ties up Samurai in the ropes, delivering multiple stiff kicks before just slapping him a couple of times.
The fucking crowd is going bananas. Maybe some of the loudest crowds we've heard in Japanese shows. It is every single person in there is stomping. You can almost feel it through the speakers.
Koji goes to run the ropes, only to run right into a forearm from El Samurai, who follows up by attempting a Thunder Fire powerbomb. But Kanemoto floats over and applies the ankle lock.
That poor leg.
Samurai reaches the rope, so Koji nails a body slam and goes for a second rope corkscrew senton, only for El Samurai to avoid and deliver several DDTs. Samurai then heads up top for a swan dive headbutt for a near fall, before slapping Kanemoto and tossing him out to the floor.
And he goes up, he basically is calling for the finish. It's like, it's over, I'm going to the top. Comes off the top, but he's so far away in the ring. I was like, he's going to miss this headbutt, and he fucking makes it there. And there's a huge pop, and I'm part of it all these years later.
Back in the ring, Kanemoto takes control after a spinning heel kick. He hits a body slam and a second rope corkscrew senton this time, before just ripping at El Samurai's mask, tearing it apart.
And the crowd's already as hot as they could possibly be, and then you start pulling at the mask. This is why masks exist.
Koji places Samurai on a turnbuckle to nail a super poison rana, causing El Samurai to land right on his head.
Disgusting.
But Kanemoto doesn't care and just kicks him multiple times in the noggin.
Yeah, dude, he just pure heel, just kicks him in the head and shrugs.
Koji follows it up with another body slam and heads up top for a moonsault. But Samurai gets his knees up before hitting 2 power bombs and applying a cross arm breaker. And Kanemoto is able to get a toe on the ropes, forcing a break. But El Samurai won't let go until the ref is forced to pull him off. Samurai then hits a slam and he heads up top. But Koji meets him there for a super power slam, followed by a moonsault. But he doesn't make the cover.
He finally hits the moonsault and doesn't even cover. Hell yes, this guy's a fucking dickhead.
He decides to end it with a bridging tiger suplex for the pin. And no! El Samurai kicks out.
Legitimately the hottest crowd I've ever heard, ever.
Kanemoto goes for a top rope corkscrew senton, but it misses, allowing Samurai to place him on a turnbuckle for a super reverse DDT. El Samurai continues with a reverse suplex and an implant reverse DDT for the pin and the win. Post-match, several of the other juniors jump in the ring with another mask to put on Samurai, so we can celebrate as we fade to black.
Aww.
I mean, it's the best shit ever. I fucking love this so much.
It's typically how it goes. If I miss a match, that one is the match of the show every fucking time.
You missed the ref bump though.
I did.
Yeah, El Samurai's foot catches the ref as he kicks out, and there's a slight ref bump before the twist senton. But it adds a little bit, but it's not like one of these ref bumps that derails the match in any huge way. It just adds a little bit more of the tension to a crowd that is, like I said, don't know if I've ever heard a hotter one.
So I got a fun fact for us.
Let's hear it.
So the next month, Samurai would challenge Jushin Thunder Liger for the J Crown and would win. But he would only hold it for about a month, when he would lose it to Shinjiro Ohtani. Then in November, the WWF demanded that Ohtani vacate the WWF Light Heavyweight Championship, which was part of the J Crown. Shinjiro did so, but also decided to vacate all of the other titles except for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, returning each of the belts to their home promotion.
So he was the last crown champion.
Ending the J Crown title.
I mean, I'm not mad that he was the last one to have it. I think anybody that had it was worthy of the crown.
Special.
Yep. But I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Best of the Super Juniors 4?
Not slighting you, Shane.
No.
Watch all of this. Everybody watch all of it. Watch, Liger and Naniwa is probably the weakest link, but it's also the shortest one, and by no means is it boring. But, yeah, everything here is great. This is the shit that I live for, when it comes to wrestling. It's like, yeah. I don't even know much about some of these guys. I don't even know the, context of where they are in their careers, but it's all in the ring. It's all right there in the ring. You don't need to know anything. You'll find something in the match quickly, and it will, hold your attention until it's over.
I feel like I've said this, and I'll probably continue to say this. If you can watch Japanese wrestling, watch Japanese wrestling. Mm-hmm. Though I do have to say, I know what match Dave Meltzer gave 5 stars to in this tournament.
Oh, which one was it?
And I'm not sure if that's even my favorite match.
Okay. Well, what is it? Because my thing is
The finals got 5 stars.
Okay, my favorite was Kanemoto Takaiwa, and I thought it was going to be my favorite, but that final, I got caught up in it. But like I said, there's so many other good matches here that I wouldn't be mad at anybody for picking a different favorite.
I literally was like, there are 3 matches easy.
Yeah.
To be put on the short list.
I mean,
from this show.
There's 3 matches here that are the best we've watched in '96. It's kind of crazy. Shane, did you have a favorite of the ones you watched?
Flip back through so I don't get names jacked up. I enjoyed the Otani Tajiri match.
Yep, it was good.
There's something about watching little baby Chavo that always makes me smile. The ones that I saw...
It was all but the last one, so there's plenty of good stuff.
I enjoyed probably the Kanemoto Liger of the ones that I saw.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I do enjoy the fact that we're now on Super Juniors 4, and we watched a few other Japanese shows, and I'm starting to recognize people more and more and more. So, like when Ohtani came on, I knew who Ohtani was.
Yeah, you didn't have to
look at my cheat sheet.
No, yeah. It's like, oh, I know that.
But maybe if I had looked at my cheat sheet, I would have saw that there was another match to go.
I mean, Takaiwa was he's definitely the surprise.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was.
We didn't have any clue who he was, and
he delivered for me personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Koji and Ohtani, I both love. This is kind of a coming out party for Koji Kanemoto, obviously, where he also has that dickhead energy that I love, but he also has more of a star persona than Takaiwa, who's the younger guy. But that's why I like their match so much, because it's kind of like watching, this is not the right way to put it. I was going to say like watching, 2 pit bulls fight, but I don't want to promote dog fighting. But you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's like
Pitbull 1 and Pitbull 2.
It's like watching the 2 biggest bullies in your high school have a fight where you're like, fuck. Yeah, but one's older and dresses better.
But they both know how to fight.
But they're both one's just got a little bit more experience.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. What are some of the best moments of this show?
When Kanemoto finally hits his moonsault that he just constantly misses, hence my nickname for the show, Mrs. Salt, because he just misses the moonsault constantly, but lands on his feet.
That's what it was.
And then when he finally makes it, you're like, okay, well, he's gonna cover, right? And then he doesn't cover. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna make sure this guy is 6 feet deep. That got me, because we unfortunately didn't get to watch all of these matches. If we did, it'd probably have to be 2 episodes, or maybe 3, because it's a large tournament. But we got more than we have in the past, and for some tournaments that we've covered. Mm-hmm. And we've saw a lot of Kanemoto. We didn't see much Samurai, but we saw a lot of Liger, a lot of Kanemoto, a good amount of Ohtani and Takaiwa. But being able to see a strong amount of the Kanemoto matches and the way that they built up to the way he worked the final and the moonsault finally fucking like hitting at like a, you know, when it feels like a crescendo of a match and he fucks it up for himself and then gets angry about it and it's his downfall. But there's a lot of great, I mean, the ankle pick and then
there's the whole sequence there in the final where it's the Tree of Woe and he's choking him and he's wrenching on the neck so hard in this choke that he falls out of the Tree of Woe and he grabs the leg to turn it into an ankle lock. It was just like what is going on?
The other, and then was it Takaiwa who catches Liger's arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great spot. And then this is just kind of general thing for the matches that we watched, but some of the like most compelling mat work, which like Japanese mat work is typically more compelling, but here like these guys are like either flopping like a fish or they are like slapping each other back in the face or like hitting their own knee to push it into like another guy's face. Like it's just wildly compelling mat work, which Japan already does well, but these guys, there's something on the line, so they're pulling out all the stops, and the anger and frustration and hate is palpable the whole time. They're not rest spots by any means, because these guys are working just as hard, and it looks like they're expending just as much energy on the mat as they are when they do a fucking flip. Also, all the fucking drop kicks to people's heads. So much kicking in the head throughout this series.
The basement drop kick was a thing on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Basement drop kick. And then, the shrug. When he's just like, does the playful kicks to the head. And then just like shrugs like, whatever. I got this shit. I'm feeling myself.
Super poison Rana, and then he kicks him in the head a few more times. And you're just like, dude.
Yeah. He's not even doing it hard. He's just like, whatever, I got this in the bag. It's like, no, you don't. But the ultimate downfall.
I don't know, the straight jacket German that Liger did.
Yeah, you really like that one.
I mean, it looks so good.
The triple power bomb into the Death Valley driver.
Yeah, I mean, that's why that's kind of like outside of the final, that's my favorite match. Yeah. And but that Takaiwa, he just ragdolls him and then hits the Death Valley driver.
Ohtani losing his shit off camera.
Yeah, that was great.
He just seems like, he seems like a badass that will fuck you up, but he also seems like the professional.
I just go listen to the last hour of this episode.
Yeah, and Tajiri like not even being like, oh, did I actually do it? Yeah.
Was there anything disappointing on this show?
I mean, my own self.
Yeah.
Hoisted upon your own petard.
This sounds rude, but like the disappointment would be that of the matches that we have on video, I would have liked to seen one that wasn't Liger and Naniwa, because that's fine, but I know there was probably some other match that we didn't watch that was great.
I mean,
but I didn't dislike that.
I'll be honest.
The other 8 minutes of Samurai and Ohtani.
That Jericho was in this tournament.
Oh, we didn't get
on the
right.
disc
on the
you
mentioned him.
Video at all. That I was like, oh, that's. I mean, I like Jericho.
Yeah,
I think this is actually the time when he's actually in ring. He's probably the best.
And he's actually Jericho in this one, and they're not doing a super Liger.
No, he was just straight Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Also, I got to see Dr. Wagner. Who the fuck is Dr. Wagner?
Very true.
Spoiler alert, you'll see him next year.
Oh, cool. Well, that's nice.
In the opening match against Gran Naniwa.
Yeah, it's 6 minutes. It's cut for time.
I mean, obviously, the main disappointing is that some of these matches are cut for time.
Yeah. I think the edits here are really good, though.
The edits were good, definitely. I have no complaints about this video that we found.
No.
Other than why would you not put the final on the video?
Yeah.
Because it exists.
Yeah.
It was a little disappointing too, because when I went to watch the final online, the quality was like a little less good than these tapes, but it's like it still didn't take away from it because, like I said, maybe the hottest crowd I've ever fucking heard, or at least the hottest crowd I've heard in recent memory of the shows that we cover.
Maybe that's why it was not available, because they were offended by how unprofessional the Japanese crowd was for that main event.
Everybody talks about how the Japanese crowds are quiet. They're not quiet. They don't hijack the show. It's more genuine, the emotion.
How about best performer of the night?
I'm going to go Kanemoto.
You're not going to give it to the crowd?
No, I can't give it to the crowd. Did you see what these guys did? I'm giving it to Kanemoto. A lot of it has to do with we saw a good amount of him. The other is incredible selling, incredible character work, dickhead through and through.
Yeah, speaking of his character work, like literally,
his character work is incredible.
Dawned on me that like in the Takaiwa match, he's the face. Mm-hmm. But then in the final versus Samurai, he's the totally shit heel. Yeah,
and he still does dickhead stuff in the Takaiwa match, but like he's not like Takaiwa is more heel-ish. Yeah. But in all the other matches we watch him in, like he's the heel, and then he goes like full on, but like character is consistent, and I think that like I don't dislike El Samurai, but he just kind of feels like a guy that can wrestle really well as opposed to like the full package, where Koji Kanemoto feels like the full package. It's like I have a sense of who this guy is, whereas El Samurai, I don't have a sense for what he is.
Samurai 1 here, he's probably like the 5th or 6th most interesting person on this show.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not my favorite guy, but like he's still better than most guys. I just, I'm a bigger fan of.
He just showed up on 2 shortlist matches.
Exactly. So like, he's great. But I'm a bigger fan of like Ohtani or Hiroshi Hase and stuff like that. There's guys that I like more. So when I say that El Samurai is not one of my guys, it doesn't really mean anything because he's still delivering incredibly quality matches.
Makes you feel something.
Absolutely.
I'd say, what I saw of Kanemoto was great. I wish I would have saw the final. But
we'll put it in the text thread again. You'll enjoy it, I promise. Smoke a big old bowl.
I don't think you need that to enjoy it.
There's always something great
but it might make it more intense.
Always something great about old Stone Cold Shinjiro Ohtani.
Yeah. I do love Ohtani and would have liked to see more of him, but This wasn't his year, but it was, in my opinion, Kanemoto's year, even though he lost the final. Like, I'm like, holy shit. This guy he's one of my guys.
Sometimes you don't need the title, you just need the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about most surprising? It's Takaiwa for me, because I had no clue who he was.
Absolutely. And now I'm like, I want more of this guy.
I want to see what this guy's going to do.
After, like, after I watched his last match on this show, I like Googled his name and was like, oh, he didn't do enough, but at least from what I could tell just reading like his Wikipedia page or whatever, but I was like, I want as much of this guy as I can get. Like Kanemoto, I know the name. We haven't seen him quite in this like new rarefied air where he's put it all together. But I know that we'll see more of him. Whereas Takaiwa, I'm like, well, I don't know how much more of him we'll see, but I'm interested to see it. Yeah, because I came away from the Kanemoto and Takaiwa match being like, Takaiwa is my fucking guy. And then watching Kanemoto work full heel in the subsequent matches, I was like, well, shit. Takaiwa was really awesome, but like Kanemoto, he's the guy. He's the real dickhead.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Terry Funk had become the ECW champion after defeating Sabu and began feuding with Shane Douglas and his crew. Terry would call in a few friends of his own to help him for an Ultimate Jeopardy steel cage match on March 26, 1994 in Devon, Pennsylvania. Each participant would have a stipulation placed on them, ranging from head forced to be shaved, never being able to team together again, and losing the championship belt. Everybody would brawl in and around the ring when Funk would have Mr. Hughes in a spinning toe hold, only for the franchise to tie a plastic bag around the head of Terry, followed by a pile driver for the pin to become the ECW champion for the second time. Douglas would fend off all challengers over the next few months, leading ECW towards the biggest night in the promotion's history.
I forgot about the bag spot.
Yeah, I so badly there wanted to say, and the win.
Next week, WrestlePalooza 1997.
I know that's ECW. It has to be ECW because
yeah,
it's
it
called
is.
WrestlePalooza. Is Perry Farrell gonna perform?
La 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 la.
He might show up. Never know.
Yeah, who knows?
Never know what's going to happen
Yeah.
in the old ECW arena.
Can we get the Offspring? Are they going to show up?
God, I hope not. The is it
Maybe
a
one last time.
is it a EC is it a pay-per-view?
It is not.
Okay. I don't know how often they run pay-per-views after the first pay-per-view.
They ran about 4 a year.
Okay.
They're on a quarter system,
Okay.
basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they still have these big shows, and WrestlePalooza has a few memorable moments that happen during
yeah.
it. So
I'm happy to hear it. I feel like we've had maybe a decent break from ECW.
Been a few episodes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a little bit slower. This 'cause
Yeah. I'm excited to go back to the
it
arena.
was a little bit tougher to find some of these 97 super shows.
Yeah.
So music from this week's show is The Score by Emerson, Lake and Powell. And our boy El Samurai won. So we're going to play his theme music, Terrible Gift by Osamu Suzuki.
I love the name of the song.
I can't pull it from the matches that we watched, but I'm interested to hear it.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you have any questions, comments, concerns,
If you've ever been to Philly, if you've ever eaten anything from Philly, drank anything in Philly, if you got a friend that you went to high school with that moved to Philly or worked there for like 3 weeks back in 1996,
Did you have a friend that went to Lollapalooza? What did they serve there?
there you go. Yeah, we're going back to Philly.
yeah.
So I'm gonna need some ideas because I know there's at least one drink left on the
Oh, is there still one left?
old cocktail list that we've been holding on to. Yeah, because the last ECW show was your birthday, so
Yeah.
that was in Philly.
we made a cake. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, there's still one on the list. I wonder who it's drawn from. Keep it a surprise.
I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I'm gonna have to scroll back
That's
to
Raven. We probably need to make sure we do it.
No, Raven was the first.
Yeah, I think we did a Raven. We did
Raven's Revenge.
The Dreamer Screamer.
I don't remember who's left
I
on that
don't
list.
know. Yeah. I'm not
Anywho, give me
it's
some
not Steve
ideas
either.
for Philadelphia ECW. If you want to do like our buddy that sent the last drink selections did, go on chat GBT and
Maybe
send me some
different
suggestions.
concoctions will pop up.
yeah, beverages, foods. It can be meals, snacks. If you want to see if there's wrestling themed sandwiches, because that's what this culinary adventure started as, send me something. If you send me something, we'll send you something. So give me some ideas, please.
But you can do any of those things at our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO.
X.
We'll talk to you next week.
Later.